Cavell was just 6 when he died from organ failure, sepsis and sickle cell disease in 2015. Simone called at 999 and told operators her son was vomiting, had a temperature as well as sickle cell. Over the next hour, his condition worsened.
You know, what happened on that day, I don't feel it was treated urgently enough. When that person on the phone told me I'd have to probably wait up to 45 minutes for an ambulance.
2 ambulances and a rapid response unit were dispatched, but then cancelled and sent to more urgent cases. But shortly after paramedics arrived, Cavell went into cardiac arrest.
This is just a quick, spontaneous discussion that we wanted to do following the BBC breakfast show that was on Friday the 24th of February. We've had a watch of it together. Parts of it really, touched home. Part of it really cut deep because couldn't believe it. So the first thing that they showed was a 6-year-old Cavell who was in a crisis, and the ambulance, basically, to cut a long story short, the ambulance didn't turn up in time. They said that his case wasn't urgent, and instead that they went to some more urgent cases. And by the time that they did get there, he went into cardiac arrest.
For me, I know that ambulance response times since I've been an adult have varied, but I never recall a moment when I was a child and that occurred in Birmingham. And I think that's the one thing that shocked me so much about this news report, is that this happened to a child.
Just to actually see the details of what happened and to know that that was it. So they prioritised more urgent cases over his. To me, his symptoms, which was exactly what was reiterated in the video as well by one of the professionals, his symptoms, along with the fact that he had sickle cell, made it urgent enough.
Yeah.
Like I don't see what could have been more urgent than that. I'm surprised because I do feel like I personally thought like ambulances and stuff had got better. Watching this video, it feels like they haven't really come very far because there was the other case in
London as well. There was the case of Sarah Mulenga
in 2011. That was
basically the ambulance had come out to her, but then they didn't take her to the hospital, and unfortunately she passed away. So then when I think back to that case and then I hear what's happened in 2015, it kind of doesn't fill me with confidence that the training that the ambulance services are getting and the call handlers as well, it's not enough. It's obviously not really hitting home how serious sickle cell can be and the serious complications that comes with it.
Come on, if people knew what sickle cell was, you would know that is an urgent case.
There'd be no question.
I think that one of the things that I don't know how the ambulance service works or A&E rapid response team. I don't know how all of those things work, but I do think that there should be a certain protocol then. Whether because let's face it, ambulance staff, you're not going to know everything about every condition. That is fair enough. But at least know, okay, sickle cell crisis, certain symptoms, you need to go into hospital. Like, it's urgent. It just needs to be treated urgent.
I talked about the fact that there's a long wait once you get to A&E. The guidance, the national guidance by NICE says that people in a sickle cell crisis should receive adequate analgesia within 30 minutes on arrival to the A&E department. But as you heard in the news report, that hasn't been the case in majority of circumstances. I know for myself that has rarely ever been the case if I've visited A&E. The local hospital, to me, they have got better at this. They have been auditing it, and there is like a standard protocol now within the A&E department. But this should be a national thing. It shouldn't just be in particular hospitals. You can be anywhere and get a crisis. So
I think in saying that as well, yes, there is that there's a protocol that people should follow or guidelines that are there to be followed. But there are some staff who, the saying common sense is not that common. There are some staff where if they don't see the guidelines, or if they are given the guidelines, they will follow the guidelines down to a T. It's not like you can't do that. The guidelines say you start off with like a low dose of, medication, whether it's paracetamol, and then you work your way up. If I come in and my pain is at 10, where are you going with paracetamol? because that's what the guidelines say. So there's guidelines, and then there's obviously judgment of character and common sense.
Yeah.
So it's like there are things out there to help them, but people are not also using their initiative.
Yeah.
And it kind of like it's difficult.
Yeah.
I would say though recently I do think that A&E has definitely improved.
Yeah. Improvements have been made, definitely, but
it's still not as good as it should be.
It's not as good as it should be, and I know obviously we're all now facing an NHS that is struggling and understaffed. So, there will be delays, but within the first 30 minutes, if you can get adequate pain relief to that person, for them, then that will make a big difference to how long they're in crisis and when you need to give the next dose. That then frees up time for you to go and do what are the other things you need to do as well. I mean, we're all human. We can't all know everything. We're not saying that you need to know every condition that's urgent under the sun. But when the guidelines are there, use them.
I just think that if someone says sickle cell, it needs to be that there needs to be that much awareness and that much knowledge about it. That if someone says sickle cell, you know the basics.
Yeah, and I think as well, which is something else that was highlighted in the videos, a lot of the time it's us, the patient, that's having to educate that nurse or that doctor about sickle cell, which is good because obviously it's a patient healthcare professional relationship that is required, but then that also impacts the care that another sickle cell sufferer might receive. It means that they might think that the way you manage your pain is the way that all people with sickle cell manage their pain. I don't think it's stressed enough that even though it's, a condition that affects red blood cells causes a crisis, that crisis and that pain is very individual.
I don't think that it's not a bad thing that, as a patient, you sometimes feel like you're teaching the doctors, but I think that it's only bad when the doctors want to argue with you.
Yeah.
Or they're not willing to listen to what you're saying.
To listen to it. And then that impacts your care because they're not listening, which means they won't accept it and your care is just hindered in the long run.
Hopefully there can be more improvements in those areas, and we won't be just keep having the same, because I think when you speak to patients, the same issues all the time.
Yeah.
So something's got to give. But overall, I mean, I'm very grateful to the BBC for our 3 minutes and 45 seconds of coverage on sickle cell awareness.
Yeah.
There needs to be more. I wish there was like a whole series on it, but we've got to start somewhere. It was early in the morning, so if you guys didn't get a chance to watch that on Friday, we have uploaded a video on our channel. We'll put the link in the description box.
Yeah.
And also, I'd just like to mention before we go, the story of Cavell, which was the first feature in the video, there is actually a memorial garden being set up in memory of him at his school. We're going to have a grand opening in May. So if you would like to make a donation for that, I'll also leave the link for the funding page in the description box below. That's been it. I hope you found this interesting. I'm glad that you guys have watched the video. I'm glad that you're engaging. Obviously, this one was a bit more of a serious topic of discussion, but we just thought that as it's in the news at the moment,
we need to comment on it.
We needed to comment and discuss it. So please share the videos, continue to subscribe and like and all of that.
Follow.
And we will see you guys next time. Stay tuned.
See ya.
Bye.